everyone, Marian here. I'm back today with a new video, and this one is going to be my top 5 life hacks for keeping a tidy home. Now, I do not love cleaning in terms of like scrubbing dishes, washing clothes, that sort of thing. But I love tidying and keeping my house really organized and neat because that's the type of environment I just enjoy living in. I really don't like when things are super cluttered and there's just stuff all over the place. I have really strong memories of like when my son was first born and we received so many wonderful gifts and like the boxes just piled up and there was like pack and play and changing table and there was just like so much stuff everywhere and I was like, ugh, it was really hard for me to function in that type of environment. So I'm really into thinking of strategies to keep my house organized and tidy because otherwise I feel like I just spend my whole day picking up one thing after another, putting things away, tidying constantly, and the house just like still seems to be a mess. So these are the top 5 life hacks I've figured out that have really helped me along the way. My number 1 tip, which you'll hear in almost all my videos, is to try to be a minimalist wherever you can. The less stuff there is, the less stuff there is to put away. For example, in our living room area, I have one small toy bin for my son and I rotate toys in there, but you will not see a ton of toys like all over our living room area because there just aren't very many in that area of the house. It also makes it so much easier to tidy up in the evenings because it's just a few toys to go back in that bucket. When I feel like he's getting bored of those toys, usually maybe once a week or so, I'll change them out for different things, but the rest gets stored away. It really continues to surprise me how many more areas in my house there are to be a minimalist in. So for example, I hate washing bottles. I don't know why. Of all like the tasks there is, I don't mind changing diapers, like that's no problem for me. I hate washing bottles. And when my son was first born and we were going through a lot with all like the pumping and nursing and everything, I was washing bottles constantly and I kept buying more because I was like, oh, I don't want to wash more bottles, I'm just gonna buy more bottles. What ended up happening is I would get to a point where I needed to wash the bottles and I had like 50 different little parts to wash and it took forever. It was like a half-hour experience at the end of each night or every few days to just get through this like pile of bottles. And what I realized was the less number of items I had, the faster the cleaning was. So now I have the absolute bare minimum. I have 1 set of pump parts and 2 sets of bottles, and I only pump once a day, and at the end of every night I wash all that stuff. It takes about 5 minutes and I'm done with it. So yes, I have to do it every day, but it's a very short, pleasant experience, and I don't have to go through this like half-hour torturous process of washing tons and tons of stuff. So that's just one example from my life, but it really showed me the whole less is more philosophy. Less bottles I had, the less time I spent washing bottles. Another benefit of this is because I know there's only 1 set of everything, I'm really careful and I don't lose the stuff. Whereas when I had a lot more, I lost a lot more. My second tip is to get rid of visual clutter. I love to have things stored away. Right now I'm in the playroom and as you can see, there's just a few toys that are out on the shelves. The rest are in storage buckets or little containers. So these all pull out and they're grouped into different categories of toys, but it's just really nice because when you walk into the space, it's very clean and open and it makes it really easy to put things away. If I had, for example, all of my son's little animals like stacked up on the top of the shelf, it would present a lot of visual color and it would clutter and it would take me forever to put all those little animals back where they want them to go. Instead, I just dump them into the bin and I'm done. I also use this technique in my closet. I have a drawer where I keep things I don't fold. These are mostly the like lightweight sweatshirts and long sleeve shirts that I put on at the end of the day when I come home from work, and they really don't need to be folded. They don't get wrinkled. I'm not wearing them to work. It doesn't matter, and I tend to wear these a lot and I tend to wear these a few times before I wash them. So rather than wasting time folding them and making them look nice on my shelf, I just throw them in this drawer and I'm good to go. My closet still looks really nice and it takes me no time to put them away at the end of the day. The third tip I have is to have a plan for walking in the door. When I come home at the end of the day, I'm literally carrying 3 bags, my work bag, my son's school bag, and my pup bag, and I'm usually got my coat on, my son's coat, all our winter gear, and I'm carrying him. So it's a lot of stuff. Walking in the house is a process, but we have a system for when we get into the house of where all these bags and coats go. We have our like little drop-off area. I found that my house got so messy the second I walked in the door because we just like exploded all our stuff everywhere. So now I'm really diligent about making sure the coats get hung up and the bags put away before we do anything. Now sometimes this frustrates my son because he knows the doggies are waiting and he just wants to go get them or get a drink of water, and I get it, but I'm teaching him that we have to go through this process every time when we come home. That way I don't have to tidy up all this stuff later in the day. The fourth tip I have for you is to practice tiny little tidy ups as you go. There are so many little activities around your house that create a lot of clutter, and I found the best approach for me is rather than letting it pile up and tackling it all at the end of the day, I try to put away each thing I use as I use it. My best example of this is when I feed the dogs. I always take out their bins from underneath the cabinet, put them on the counter, fill their dog dishes, and then I used to walk away. I don't know why, but after I would give them their food, there was like a million other things I had to do, and I always forgot about putting their food back. Now I'm really diligent about this little thing. I fill up their bowls and then I put the food back under the counter before I give them their dinner, and that way it gets put away. That's just one example of one tiny little tidy up where if you just do it right then, right after you use it, things don't get all cluttered. And my tip number 5 is to have respect for your stuff. This is one of the values we really institute in the playroom and with my son's toys, but if you really value the things that you own, and this gets back to the whole minimalism philosophy where you don't own tons of stuff that you don't care about, then you really value them and treat them well. So when we're done playing in the playroom, it's part of our routine to put the toys away, and I try to communicate this sort of respect for the items. We don't throw them around, we don't leave them lying on the floor where we might step on them or where the dogs might eat them up. So it's a way of not only appreciating what you have, but also taking care of the stuff you have. That all contributes to a really tidy and pleasant place to call home. So that's it. Those are my 5 life hacks for you guys. I hope you like them. If you have any tidy up ideas for me, please leave them in the comments down below, and give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching. Bye!